2022 University of Idaho murders. In the early morning of November 13, 2022, Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Ethan Chapin, and Zana Kernodle, all University of Idaho students, were fatally stabbed in an off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho. On December 30th, Bryan Christopher Kohberger was arrested in Monroe County, Pennsylvania, on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. At the time of the murders, Kohberger was a PhD student completing his first semester at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington, located less than 8 miles west of Moscow. During the fall 2022 semester, 5 female University of Idaho students lived in a rented off-campus residence in the rural college town of Moscow, Idaho. The town of Moscow had not had a murder since 2015. The 3-story house had 6 bedrooms, 2 on each floor. Built on a hillside, the house had entrances on both the first and second floors. Kaylee and Madison had their bedrooms on the 3rd floor. Goncalves had recently moved out, but returned to show Mogen her new car. On the night of the murders, Mogen and Goncalves slept in Mogen's room. The 2nd floor had the house's kitchen, and the bedrooms of Zana Kernodle, and surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen. On the night of the murders, Kernodle's boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, was staying at the house in her room. The 1st floor of the house had the bedroom of another surviving roommate, Bethany Funke. All 5 roommates and Chapin were in the house by 2 a.m. on November 13, 2022. Chapin and Kernodle had returned from an on-campus party at the nearby Sigma Chi fraternity, arriving home at 1:45 a.m. Mogen and Goncalves had gone to a downtown sports bar called Corner Club, and then a food truck called Grub Truck, arriving home at 1:56 a.m. Between 2:26 to 2:52 a.m., the phones of Goncalves and Mogen made several unanswered calls to the longtime boyfriend of Goncalves, a fellow student. Detectives believe all 4 murders occurred between 4:00 and 4:25 a.m. Kernodle appears to have been awake when the killer entered the house, as she had just received a DoorDash food order at around 4 a.m. and was using the TikTok app on her phone at 4:12 a.m. Surviving roommate Dylan Mortensen, who was asleep in her bedroom on the 2nd floor, told investigators that she was awakened by a noise on the 3rd floor that she initially thought was Goncalves and her pet dog. She stated she later heard someone saying something to the effect of, "There's someone here." Mortensen believed this was Goncalves, although investigators believe it may have been Kernodle. Mortensen looked out her door but did not see anything. She stated she then heard what sounded like crying from Kernodle's room. She opened her door again and heard an unfamiliar male voice say, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." Security did not see anything. She stated she then heard what sounded like crying from Kernodle's room. She opened her door again and heard an unfamiliar male voice say, "It's okay. I'm going to help you." Security cameras near the house picked up the sound of whimpering, a loud thud, and a dog barking numerous times starting around 4:17 a.m. Mortensen opened her door a 3rd time and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered his mouth and nose walking towards her. The man, whom Mortensen stated she did not recognize, walked past her and exited through a sliding glass door in the kitchen. Mortensen stated she stood in a frozen shock phase, and then locked herself in her room. She later told authorities she did not immediately call 911 after seeing a masked stranger in the house, because she was intoxicated and didn't want to believe what was going on. At approximately 4:26 a.m., Mortensen went downstairs to join the other surviving roommate, Bethany Funke. On the way, Mortensen saw Kernodle lying on the floor of her bedroom. She later told police that she believed at the time Kernodle may have been intoxicated. The 2 surviving roommates then locked themselves in Funke's bedroom and spent several hours attempting to contact their other housemates. The following morning, they still had not heard anything from the other housemates, and Mortensen called friends over for help. Soon after arriving, one of the friends went to the 2nd floor where he discovered that